ॐ ब्रह्मानन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वधी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। अथ श्रीमद्भगवद्गीता त्रयोदशोऽध्यायः क्षेत्रक्षेत्रज्ञविभागयोगः। श्रीभगवानुवाच। Just give me a second. पुरुष प्रकृतिस्थो हि भुङ्क्ते प्रकृतिजान् गुणान् कारणं गुणसङ्गोऽस्य सदसद्यो निजन्मसु उपद्रष्टानुमन्ता च भर्ता भोक्ता महेश्वरः परमात्मेति चाप्युक्तो देहेऽस्मिन् पुरुषः परः य एवं वेत्ति पुरुषं प्रकृतिं च गुणैः सह सर्वथा वर्तमानोऽपि न स भूयोऽभिजायते ध्यानेनात्मनि पश्यन्ति केचिदात्मानमात्मना अन्ये साङ्ख्येन योगेन कर्मयोगेन चापरे अन्ये त्वेवमजानन्तः श्रुत्वान्येभ्यः उपासते तेऽपि चातितरन्त्येव मृत्युं श्रुतिपरायणाः यावत् सञ्जायते किञ्चित् सत्त्वं स्थावरजङ्गमं क्षेत्रक्षेत्रज्ञसंयोगात् तद्विद्धि भरतर्षभ समं सर्वेषु भूतेषु तिष्ठन्तं परमेश्वरं विनश्यत्य विनश्यन्तं यः पश्यति स पश्यति. That's it. We'll continue with Tattva Bodha where we left yesterday. Just give me a minute before I share the screen. So we'll continue from here. Actually, recap a little bit. So we're looking at the evolution of the universe. So right now it's the evolution of the 5 elements. Before this, we saw that Maya has 2 powers, Vikshepa and Avarana. Brahmashraya, Sattva, Rajas, Tamo, Gunatmika, Maya Asti. And what is this Maya? We've seen. Now we go to the evolution of the 5 elements. Yeah, let's do this. ततः आकाशः सम्भूतः आकाशात् वायुः वायोस्तेजः तेजस् आपः adhyah prithvi. Tata, from that Akasha space, Sambhuta was born. Akasha from space, Vayu air, Vayoho from air, Tejaha fire, Tejasaha from fire, Apaha water. Adbhyaha, from water, Prithvi, earth. From that Maya, space was born. From space, air. From air, fire. From fire, water. From water, earth. The process of creation is from the subtle to the gross. Subtlety is measured by an object's pervasiveness and the number of perceivable qualities it has. The more pervasive the object, the more subtle it is. The lesser the number of qualities, the subtler it is. The truth is the subtlest of all. It is all pervasive and beyond the cognition of all the instruments of knowledge, as it is attributeless. Space is the first element created through the power of Maya. It is the subtlest of the elements. It has the quality of sound and can therefore carry sounds as sound waves. From space came air, which is less pervasive. It has the qualities of sound and touch, therefore, it can be heard and felt. Fire emerged from air. It is less pervasive and has the qualities of sound, touch, and form, and it therefore is heard, felt, and seen. Water came next in order and is even less pervasive. It has the qualities of sound, touch, form, and taste, and can be heard, felt, seen, and tasted. Even though it is tasteless by itself, all taste is possible due to it. The last is the earth, which is the grossest and the least pervasive. It has the qualities of sound, touch, form, taste, and smell, and can therefore be heard, touched, seen, tasted, and smelt. These subtle elements are called tanmatras. They cannot be perceived by our sense organs. Only when they grossify can they be perceived as the sense objects. The material cause is never different from the created object. Like, for example, clay and the pot. So the clay is never apart from the pot. Therefore, the three qualities of Maya pervade the five elements, which is Sattva, Rajas, Tamo, Tamas. These are the qualities of Maya. They pervade through all the five elements. As we have seen, the ultimate material cause of the world can be the truth alone. Therefore, the truth pervades the five elements, just as gold pervades all gold ornaments and water all waves. I'm going to repeat this paragraph because it is very, very profound. The material cause is never different from the created object. Therefore, the three qualities of Maya pervade the five elements. As we have seen, the ultimate material cause of the world can be the truth alone. Therefore, the truth pervades the five elements just as gold pervades all gold ornaments and water all waves. We look at Brahmashraya Maya, Sattva Rajas Tamo Gunatmika Maya. And from there, Akasha is born, the first element, and then the air, then the fire, then water, and then earth. So, because they all have the basis in Brahma, Brahma pervades in and through the five elements. When does Maya create the five elements? The three qualities of Maya in their unmanifest form remain in a state of equilibrium, Samya Avastha. When this balance is somehow disturbed, the process of creation begins. The evolution of the sattva aspect, the organs of perception. Etesham panchatattvanam madhye akashasya satvikamshat shrotrendriyam sambhutam. Vayoh satvikamshat tvagindriyam sambhutam. Agnehe satvikamshat चक्षुरिंद्रियम संभूतम. जलस्य सात्विकांशात् रसनेन्द्रियम संभूतम. पृथिव्याः सात्विकांशात् घ्राणेन्द्रियम संभूतम. I'm going to skip this part. So among these five great elements, out of the sattvic aspect of space, the organ of hearing, the ear, evolved. From the sattvic aspect of air, the organ of touch, the skin, evolved. From the sattvic aspect of fire, the organ of sight, the eye, evolved. From the sattvic aspect of water, the organ of taste, the tongue, evolved. From the sattvic aspect of earth, the organ of smell, the nose, evolved. The subtle elements, tanmatras, create the sense organs, which too enjoy the same degree of subtlety. The main characteristic of sattva guna is knowledge. Naturally, the sense organs of perception are born from the sattvic aspects of the five elements. Each element has its own special quality. To perceive it, the corresponding sense organ is evolved to perceive its special quality. Example, from the sattvic aspect of space, the sense organ of hearing is created to perceive sound. The evolution of the organs of action and perception are summarized in the following chart.
Jai Gurudev, can you repeat this paragraph once more?
Will do it. So the
Yeah, there are subtle elements.
Yeah. The subtle elements, tanmatras, create the sense organs, which too enjoy the same degree of subtlety. Remember earlier we had said, Swamiji said, they are subtle. These are sanmatras. These subtle elements are called tanmatras. They cannot be perceived by our sense organs. Only when they grossify can they be perceived as the sense objects. So these Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Tejaha, Tejaha, Apaha, and Prithvi are the Tanmatras. So from them, so the subtle elements create the sense organs which too enjoy the same degree of subtlety. The main characteristic of Sattva Guna is knowledge. Naturally, the sense organs of perception are born from the sattvic aspects of the five elements. Each element has its own special quality. To perceive it, the corresponding sense organ is evolved to perceive its special quality. Example, from the sattvic aspect of space, the sense organ of hearing is created to perceive sound. Sattva is knowledge. It is the characteristic of Sattva Guna is knowledge. And therefore, these from the sattvic aspects of the Panchamahabhutas, these organs of perception are evolved. The sense of perception itself is subtle, the sense organs. So from the senses, you have the sense organs that evolve. To perceive it,
but isn't it irony? Like though like they evolve, the sense organs evolve from the sattvic aspects of the five elements, and the sense organs only they deter you from that from this spiritual path. Like they are a hindrance in the in your spiritual growth. The sense organs only, though they are uh, arising from the sattvic aspects of the elements. It is doesn't it like it's not contradictory. I'll say it's an irony, like just the opposite which is happening. I was just thinking over this when reading.
This is the creation starting, no? So something is needed for the creation. And after that, because of the Maya and the intelligence,
because of
and then all.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So we were born sattvic, like we were evolved sattvic, but due to the effect of Maya and our own gunas, we like we were covered by all the tamasic and the tamasic effects, like we were layered by all these avarnas, you can say. Yeah.
if you look at the rope and the snake example, which is what we started off yesterday, where the rope is Brahma and the snake is a superimposition, the Jagat. Here we are giving description of the snake, of what are all the aspects that are created from that sattva guna. All these again are nothing but aspects, attributes of Maya, sattva, rajas, tamas, and therefore all those that are born out of them, all the sense organs and organs of action, all of that are nothing but descriptions of Maya. So it is like we're describing that snake. It has this, it has this, you know, it has this color, it has this ability to see, it has the ability to hear. But ultimately, what are we? We are nothing but that pure consciousness Brahman. So the snake that is being described now has different, we have different snakes. I mean, each one of us is like a different snake, so to say, because we create our own jagat wherever we are. So ultimately, no matter what the kind of snake we're talking about, all that is just an illusion. Our true nature is nothing but that Brahman, that rope. And all this is because of the ability of Maya to create that Vikshepa, the Avarana and the Vikshepa, which is again born of ignorance. So ultimately, it is, we are pursuing all this so that we can, uh, realize that knowledge, recognize that, and realize that all that Maya, the moment that recognition happens, like yesterday Swamiji was talking about, just like how once the torch light is shown, and you know that the snake is not the snake, the rope is not a snake, and it's the rope. That's it. That is the end of Maya and all of what arises out of Maya. So, although it is born of Brahman, because of this power of Maya, it creates as though a distinction. And that distinction can be any kind. It is that permutation and combination of those three gunas. We can have an infinite variety of combinations. Yeah. From the sattvic aspect of space, the sense organ of hearing is created to perceive sound. The evolution of the organs of action and perception are summarized in the following chart. The organs of action and perception. So we have the element, the aspect, sense organ, deity, faculty, organ of action, deity, and ability. So for sound, from space, from the element space, aspect is sound, sense organ that is created is ears, the deity is dig, space, faculty is hearing, the organ of action is tongue, uh, deity is fire, Agni, and the ability is speech. Then from the element air, the aspect is touch, sense organ is skin, the deity is air, Vayu, the faculty is feeling, the organs of action are hands, the deity is Indra, and the ability is grasping objects. The third element, fire, is the aspect is form, the sense organ is the eye, the deity is sun, Surya, faculty is seeing, the organs of action are legs, deity is Vishnu, and the ability is locomotion. Then comes the element water. Aspect is taste, the sense organ is the tongue, deity is water, Varuna, the faculty is tasting, organs of action are the genitals, the deity is Prajapati, and the ability is procreation. Last is the element earth, the aspect is smell, the sense organ is the nose, deity is Ashwini Kumaras, faculty is smelling, organ of action is the anus, deity is death, Yama, and the ability is eliminating wastes. So we have both the evolution of the sensor organs of sense perception as well as the organs of action. So from space, we get the ears and tongue. From air, we get skin as well as hands. From fire, we have eyes as well as the legs. Then from water, we have tongue as well as the genitals. Earth, we have the nose as well as the anus. And the deities of space, of sound is space, dig, of touch is Vayu, of form is Surya, taste is Varuna, and smell is Ashwini Kumaras. And the deities of the tongue is Agni, hands is Indra, legs is Vishnu, genitals is Prajapati, and the anus is Yama. एतेषां पञ्चतत्त्वानां समिष्टि सात्विकांशात् मनो बुद्ध्यहङ्कार चित्तान्तःकरणानि सम्भूतानि संकल्प विकल्पात्मकं मनः निश्चयात्मिका बुद्धिः अहंकर्ता अहंकारः चिन्तनकर्तृचित्तं मनसो देवता चन्द्रमाः बुद्धेः ब्रह्म अहंकारस्य रुद्रः चित्तस्य वासुदेवः. So, from the total sattvic aspect of these five elements, the inner instrument of the mind, intellect, ego, and memory are formed. The mind is of the nature of indecision. The intellect is of the nature of decision. The ego is of the nature of the notion of doership. Memory is of the nature of thinking or recollection. The presiding deity of the mind is the moon, of the intellect Brahma, of the ego Rudra, and of memory Vasudeva. The 10 sense organs are called the outer equipment, Bahishkarana, as they receive knowledge about outside objects and respond to the world. Remember, they are from the sattvic aspect. Sattva signifies knowledge, is characterized by knowledge. Therefore, they receive knowledge about outside objects and respond to the world. The mind receives sense perceptions, cognizes them based on previous experience, and commands the senses to respond. It is called the inner equipment, Antakarna. The mind cannot contact the world directly. It has to go through the senses. The senses also cannot function without the prompting of the mind. Hence, there is a close relationship between them. They function in coordination. Each sense organ perceives only its particular sense object. The mind perceives information from all of them. It understands sound, touch, form, taste, and smell. It also feels emotions and thinks thoughts. It is the seat of all knowledge and therefore made from the sattvic aspect of all the 5 elements. The sense organs by themselves cannot perceive. It is only in coordination with the mind. Did someone say something?
Can you go a bit slow and
Okay.
this lot nine cannot contact.
Do you want me to repeat this paragraph?
Yes, please. That's all. The 10 senses.
The 10 sense organs are called the outer equipment, Bahishkarana. As they receive knowledge about outside objects and respond to the world. The mind receives sense perceptions, cognizes them based on previous experience, and commands the senses to respond. It is called the inner equipment, Antahkarana. The mind cannot contact the world directly. It has to go through the senses. The senses also cannot function without the prompting of the mind. Hence, there is a close relationship between them. They function in coordination. Each sense organ perceives only its particular sense object. Like you can only hear from the ear. You cannot smell from the ear. And vice versa. You cannot hear from the tongue. You can only taste from the tongue. The mind receives information from all of them. It understands sound, touch, form, taste, and smell. It also feels emotions and thinks thoughts. It is the seat of all knowledge and therefore made from the sattvic aspect of all the 5 elements. The inner equipment is a continuous flow of thought modifications, vritti. It is classified into 4 according to the different functions it performs. The same person is called a singer when he sings and a dancer when he dances. The 4 categories are, I will read this para again. The inner equipment is a continuous flow of thought modifications. It is classified into 4 according to the different functions it performs. The same person is called a singer when he sings and a dancer when he dances. The 4 categories are: number 1, Manana, the mind. Thoughts in a state of volition constitute the mind. Should I see the movie or not? Maybe I should do so tomorrow. Will I get a ticket? This state of vacillation continues till a decision is made. Emotions also constitute the mind. A person dominated by his mind cannot make quick decisions and is often swayed by his emotions and moods, likes and dislikes. The moon is the presiding deity of the mind. The phases of the moon keep changing like the mind. How the moon affects the mind can be seen in a lunatic. Lunar is the moon. How the moon affects the mind can be seen in a lunatic asylum. Mental disturbance in patients is seen to increase on new moon and full moon days. Most psychosomatic diseases also worsen during that time. Buddhi, the intellect. Thoughts in a state of decision constitute the intellect. Whereas what was the mind? The mind was thoughts in a state of volition constitute the mind. That is, should I not? You're still dilly-dallying. The Sanskrit definition of the mind is Sankalpa Vikalpatmakam Manaha and Nishchayatmika Buddhi. So mind is always a constant flux of between Sankalpa, Vikalpa. It's vacillating between should I not, will I not. Whereas Buddhi is Nishchayatmika, the intellect. Thoughts in a state of decision constitute the intellect. Reasoning, observation, conclusion, etc. are functions of the intellect. One dominated by the intellect is called a rationalist. He or she can think logically and decisively, but one must be careful not to become a dry intellectual, bereft of tenderness. The presiding deity of the intellect is the omniscient creator Brahma. All knowledge and creative ideas arise in the intellect. Brihaspati, the guru of the Devatas, is also considered the deity of the intellect as it is the guru who gives us knowledge. Surya, the sun god, is also considered to preside over the intellect. So we saw that the inner equipment is a continuous flow of thought modifications. So the mind is a continuous flow of thought which have sankalpa, vikalpa, volitional thought. They're in a state of volition. Whereas the buddhi is a state of continuous thought where that is able to make a decision. Nishchayatmika buddhi. And how does this one person have all of this? Similar to the same person is called a singer when he sings and a dancer when he dances. So when we are caught up in our mind, we are uh, functioning from the state of the mind. Whereas we are making a decision, we are discriminating and making a decision, then we are functioning from the space of the intellect. Like how the same person can either sing or dance, the same way. Now, Anyone wants me to repeat the buddhi, or should I go ahead? You're all muted, so in case you need to speak, please unmute and speak. So, I will read the intellect one more time. The intellect, thoughts in a state of decision constitute the intellect. Reasoning, observation, conclusion, etc. are functions of the intellect. One dominated by the intellect is called a rationalist. He or she can think logically and decisively, but one must be careful not to become a dry intellectual, bereft of tenderness. The presiding deity of the intellect is the omniscient creator Brahma. All knowledge and creative ideas arise in the intellect. Brihaspati, the guru of the Devatas, is also considered the deity of the intellect, as it is the guru who gives us knowledge. Surya, the sun god, is also considered to preside over the intellect.
Can you describe like dry intellectual is without feeling or without being practical, or is it meaning something else? What I didn't follow completely.
Yeah, I think he should not just be a rationalist, no? There should be that element of, otherwise, he's only being dharmic. He's not being a bhakta, he's not being a karma intellectual.
But Brahmaraji, where the feelings come, it in intellect or mind? That also we have to find now. So how will be dry intellect? Feeling is a part of mind, I think. Emotions are in the, yeah, emotions are in the mind, and thoughts also are in the mind. Just
even
go
intellect is
previous.
nothing but thought. See, intellect is also a continuous flow of thought. So,
Okay.
what I understand as dry intellect is, you should not just be logical all the time. There should be that element of I don't know why this term bhakti is coming up. See, otherwise there is this person who is very ethical, who is very dharmic, who is very logical, who does everything very rationally, takes all the right decisions. But if there is no element of that tenderness, that bhakti is not so much an emotion, but it is you're recognizing Ishvara there. So I think maybe that is what Swamiji is meaning here by saying should not be a dry intellect. It should be coupled with that element of bhakti. Like in Karma Yoga, the Karma Yogi recognizes Ishvara. He's he's following dharma. He's always doing things which are right. He's discriminating. He's differentiating right and wrong. He's got that nischayatmika buddhi. But it's not just that. He also has that subtle aspect of bhakti. I think that's what he means. Let's just read further. We'll be able to understand. So actually, if you look at intellect, presiding deities, there are three of them. Interestingly, we have Brahma, Brihaspati, and Surya. Whereas for the mind, it is just the moon. Right. And it's interesting that Gurudev's name is Ravi Shankar. Shankar is the, Ravi is, it signifies the sun. Yeah. Ahankara, the ego. The thought, I am the doer, is the ego. The ego does not mean pride. It is the sense of individuality or the notion of doership. Wow. After all, the Ahankara is nothing but just a thought. I am the doer. It is the sense of individuality or the notion of doership. Some are proud while others are not, but all have the notion of doership, except a realized person and the Lord. The mind, intellect, and memory, remembered thoughts, memories, remembered thoughts, keep changing, but the ego is there with every thought. It owns them as I doubt, I decide, I remember, my anger, my idea, etc. It comes into being with each thought. The mind, intellect, and memories of each one differs, but the ego is all the same. It connects the pure self to the three bodies. Five sheets and the three states as I am fat, I ate, I slept well, etc. Rudra, the one who makes all cry, is the deity of the ego. Do we not suffer because of the ego? Rudra, Shiva, is the lord of destruction. With the death of the ego, all suffering ends. This is so good. Let me know if you want me to repeat this. Ahankara.
This.
Let me read this. Ahankara, the ego. The thought, I am the doer, is the ego. Remember, I'm just recollecting what is all the inner equipment is nothing but a series of thoughts. Continuous flow of thoughts is the antakarana. And like the person can be a dancer, singer, this person can be mindful, can be can be intellectual, can be full of ego, as well as full of memory. So it depends on what attribute is functioning at that time, although the ahankara is the one that functions throughout. Now, the ego, the thought, I am the doer, is the ego. The ego does not mean pride. It is the sense of individuality or the notion of doership. Some are proud while others are not, but all have the notion of doership, except a realized person and the Lord. Actually, here the realized person is nothing but the Lord. There's only that one, right? So, except that, everybody else, ahankara functions. The mind, intellect, and memory, that is remembered thoughts, keep changing, but the ego is there with every thought. It owns them as I doubt, I decide, I remember, my anger, my idea, etc. It comes into being with each thought. The mind, intellect, and memories of each one differs, but the ego is all the same. It comes into being with each thought. So, in the state of deep sleep, there is no ego, or that is kind of subdued to the bare minimum, so to say, which is why you're able to even say, I slept well. So it connects the pure self to the three bodies, five sheets, and the three states as I am fat, I ate, I slept well, etc. The mind, intellect, and memories of each one differs, but the ego is all the same. It connects the pure self to the three bodies. That is why the ahankara, the link between the jiva and Brahma, that ahankara has to dissolve in order for us to recognize ourselves as Brahman. It connects the pure self to the three bodies, five sheaths, and the three states as I am fat, I ate, I slept well, etc. So, what are the three bodies, five sheaths, and the three states? Three bodies are the Sthula Sukshma Karana Shariras. The five sheaths are the Pancha Koshas: Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Jnanamaya, Anandamaya. And then the three states are the Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti. So, Rudra, the one who makes all cry, is the deity of the ego. Do we not suffer because of the ego? Rudra, Shiva, is the lord of destruction. With the death of the ego, all suffering ends. Chittam, the memory. The function of reflection and recollection is the chittam. All experiences are stored as impressions and can be recollected like the data bank of a computer. It is based on this information alone that we can think. Vasudeva, Vishnu, is the deity of the Chitta. Vishnu is said to wield Sattva Guna. Only when we are calm and sattvic can we clearly reflect and easily remember facts and events. Okay, I'll just repeat this Chittam one more time so that Chittam, the memory, the function of reflection and recollection is the Chittam. All experiences are stored as impressions and can be recollected like the data bank of a computer. It is based on this information alone that we can think. Vasudeva, Vishnu, is the deity of the Chitta. Vishnu is said to wield Sattva Guna. Only when we are calm and settled down, only when we are calm and sattvic can we clearly reflect and easily remember facts and events. So we move on to the Rajasic aspect, the evolution of the Rajas aspect. Etesham panchatattvanam madhye akashasya rajasamshat vagindriyam sambhutam. Vayoho rajasamshat panindriyam sambhutam. Vannehe rajasamshat padendriyam sambhutam. Jalasya rajasamshat upasthendriyam sambhutam. Prithivya rajasamshat gudendriyam sambhutam. Etesham samishti rajasamshat panchapranaha sambhutaha. How beautiful this is. So among these five elements, from the Rajas aspect of space, the organ of speech is formed. From the Rajas aspect of air, the organ of grasping, the hands are formed. From the Rajas aspect of fire, the organ of locomotion, the feet are formed. From the Rajas as the legs are formed. From the Rajas aspect of water, the organ of perception, of procreation is formed. From the Rajasic aspect of earth, the anus, the anus is formed. From the total rajas aspect of these 5 elements, the 5 vital airs, pranas, are formed. Rajoguna is characterized by activity. So, wherever there is activity, it is the manifestation of the rajasic aspect of Maya. Sattva is knowledge, Rajas is activity. The 5
Excuse me.
organs,
5 pranas are formed because of the rajas of all these 5 uh,
total, Samishti
elements.
Rajasamshat. Yeah.
Okay.
From all the combined total of all the 5 elements, the Rajas aspect, the Panchapranas are formed. Rajoguna is characterized by activity. So, wherever there is activity, it is the manifestation of the Rajasic aspect of Maya. The 5 organs of action respond to the world by activating the body, and the 5 pranas supply power to all the functions of the body and keep it alive through the physiological functions. Hence, both are the manifestations of the Rajasic aspect of the 5 elements. I will read this again. Rajoguna is characterized by activity. So, wherever there is activity, it is the manifestation of the Rajasic aspect of Maya. The 5 organs of action respond to the world by activating the body, and the 5 pranas supply power to all the functions of the body and keep it alive through the physiological function. Hence, both are the manifestations of the Rajasic aspect of the 5 elements. The unmanifest condition of the 5 elements and the 3 qualities is the causal body. The unmanifest condition of the 5 elements and the 3 qualities is the causal body. The manifestation of the sattvic and rajasic aspects of the 5 elements constitutes the total subtle body or the subtle world. Now the manifestation of the tamasic aspect is described. So what is the causal body? The Karana Sharira is the unmanifest condition of the 5 elements and the 3 qualities. Whereas the manifestation of the sattvic
It's a
and
rajas of Maya, no? It's a rajas of Maya.
No, the
The body.
unmanifest condition. Remember that the Samya Avastha, where all of them are in a state of equilibrium, the unmanifest condition of the 5 elements and the 3 qualities is the causal body. Whereas the manifestation of the sattvic and rajasic aspects of the 5 elements constitutes the total subtle body or the subtle world. See, now he's giving the evolution of how the 3 bodies are formed. What are the 3? What constitutes the 3 bodies? The Karana, the is that the Karana the Stula Sukshma Karana Shariras he's talking of, right? So the Karana Sharira is what? The unmanifest condition of the 5 elements, the Panchamahabhutas, and the 3 qualities. I should not say Samya Avastha. Samya Avastha is where all the 3 qualities are just in equilibrium. They haven't started the formation of the Panchamahabhutas. Whereas after they go into something, triggers them, and then the Panchamahabhutas are formed. So the Panchamahabhutas and the 3 qualities is the causal body, unmanifest condition. When they manifest, Then the manifestation of the sattvic and rajasic aspects of the 5 elements constitutes the Sukshma Sharira, the subtle world. Now the manifestation of the tamasic aspect is described. So what do we get from the tamasic aspect? We get the gross body, the jada. Evolution of the tamasic aspect. Etesham panchatattvanam tamasamshat panchikrita pancham tattvani bhavanti. Panchikaranam kathamiti chet etesham panchamahabhutanam tamasamsha tamas tamasashasvarupam tamasamshasvarupam ekam bhutam dvidha vibhajya एकमेकमर्ध पृथक् तूष्णीं व्यवस्थाप्य अपरमपरमर्ध चतुर्धा विभज्य स्वाधर्मण्येषु अर्धेषु स्वभागचतुष्टयसंयोजनं कार्यं तदा पञ्चीकरणं भवति एतेभ्यः पञ्चीकृतपञ्चमहाभूतेभ्यः स्थूलशरीरं भवति. From the tamas aspect of these 5 elements, the grossified 5 elements are born. If it is asked how this panchikarana takes place, it is as follows. From the tamas aspect of each of the 5 elements divides into 2 equal parts. One half of each remains intact. The other half of each gets divided into 4 equal parts. Then, to the intact half of one element, 1/8 portion from each of the other 4 elements gets joined. Then Panchikarana is complete. From these 5 grossified elements, the gross body is formed. So, each of the tamas aspect of each of the 5 elements become 2. One half remains as it is, the other half again divides into 4. So, the 1/2 plus 1/8 of each of the other elements. That is how the 5 that's how the gross body is formed. So space is half space, whereas plus 1/8 air, 1/8 fire, 1/8 water, 1/8 ether. Similarly, air is normally air is half air, 1/8 space, 1/8 fire, 1/8 water, 1/8 earth, and so on and so forth. So fire is half fire, water is half water, and earth is half earth.
Can we say the hearing means ear is formed because of the space element, because we can hear from the space, and the half part is space and all other are 1/8 of the other elements.
So what do you want me to repeat?
Means there it is given, no? For space, half is the space and other 4 elements are 1/8. So
Correct.
the gross body means ear. Because of the space we can hear, isn't it? So
Correct.
elements, organs of hearing or whatever the organs, because of the space we feel or hear. Only hear, no only. So that organ is made up of this panchikarana, that gross, because this is the tamas aspect of that element from where the gross body is emerging. So in our gross body, the hearing aid, our ear can be formed like this, you are saying, because of the panchikarana.
Yeah, if you remember, they are tanmatras, the subtle elements, the sattvic aspects are the tanmatras. They are subtle. They, in order to become gross, that they have to be grossified. It is from the tamas aspect. See, each of the 5 elements has the sattva, rajas, and tamas, right? These are the 3 qualities. So, from the sattvic aspect, what are formed? The sense organs are formed, organs of perception. And the samishti sattvikamshat, the antakarana is formed,
Correct.
which we've seen is nothing but a continuous flow of thoughts. And based on the categorization, based on what is predominant, whether your mind is predominant, intellect. So we have the mind, intellect, memory, and the ego. And we saw how the ego is the same in all. The mind,
Correct.
intellect can be different. The chitta is different from person to person. But whereas the ahankara, the doership, the doer is the same. It is it is that doesn't differ from person to person. And same similarly from the rajas aspect of the Pancha Mahabhutas, you have the organs of action that are formed. Because rajas means activity. Sattva is knowledge. Therefore, you know, you perceive. Here it is rajas activity. So you have individually from the fire, air, from space, air, etc. You have the individual sense organs. But to oversee all of that, so then you get from the tamas aspect, the grossified physical body is formed, which has elements of all the 5 bhutas, but in a fractionated manner. So the space as we see the gross space, gross air, gross fire, gross water, all this. So the water that we see, the water that we drink, is the tamasic aspect. Whereas the rajas and the sattvic aspect of water are subtle. We cannot, they exist in the tanmatra state.
So we can taste. We have a taste
Because
because
of
of
that,
that.
we can taste. Because of that,
Yeah.
we can taste, right?
Okay, thanks.
See, tanmatras, if you see this chart, the first state is tanmatras, each in itself. Then it divides into 2. Then the split happens. Then one half remaining intact, the other splits into 4. And in the 5th one half married with 4 bits borrowed from all the others.
This we are studying the constituent, like the composition, how the body is formed, not a single sense organ. No, it is constituting all the parts, or how it is, how a body is formed, or are we studying a particular sense organ? No, I think
all the organs are formed from this gross body, right? It's
Right.
only the that subtle, like hearing part. Like, see, I'm talking to you, you are hearing me, so that you don't see it, right? That's a sukshma. That that is what is happening,
Yes.
like the
Sukshma
sabda.
Sharira.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's a sattvic part of the this akasha is that's what we are calling that sattvic aspect. All the perception, not perception, that sense, um, we call it a sense organs, but it's not really the ear per se, like our eyes. Because the people who have eyes, they can still be blind. That vision is there. That is true. That sattvic aspect.
Yeah, so we are like the Tanmatras, which has the space element, earth, fire, water. So combining them whole, we are making a composition of a body. In some body, we have the space element more, some we have air, some earth, like this. And I understood it like this. Or is it that it is describing about a single sense organ? I think it's the whole body, because we are combining the whole 5 elements in making these. The tanmatras are making these, no? So all the sense organs which are present in a body, I don't know. Like, can you
if you go
explain
back to
once?
the
Like,
causal body, one second, let me go to the
yeah,
causal body. Let me read that part. Understand.
tanmatras are the sense
See,
organs. How they originated from the tanmatras. So we are reading these tanmatras, no?
right. So the unmanifest condition of the 5 elements and the 3 qualities is the causal body, the Karana Sharira, right? The manifestation of the sattvic and rajasic aspects of the 5 elements constitutes the total subtle body or the subtle world. So the combination of the sattvic and rajasic aspects constitutes the sukshma sharira. Now the manifestation of the tamasic aspect is described. So the sthula sharira, or the gross sharira, the gross world, the world as we see it outside, is from the tamasic aspect.
Yeah, so that is from sense organs. And the tanmatras, they are the origin from where the sense organs have the potential to experience the world. Like the origin is those tanmatras we are talking.
Along with the mind, yes.
Along with the mind, yes.
Without the mind, like in deep sleep, you have the sense organs are there. The physical body is there. The sense organs are there, but they are not able to perceive, because in order to perceive, you require both of them. You require the sense organ as well as the mind. A person who's in coma, his sense organs are there. He may be perceiving, but the mind, he may be getting the input from the sense organ, but the mind is not functional there. So, in order for that sense perception to happen, we need the combination and coordination of both the sense organs as well as the mind.
Yeah. And
Which is
earlier
why
Dr. Brahma, do you mind showing that
the
the table of the sattvic aspect and just to clarify that?
this one or the sattvic aspect?
No, not tamasic aspect, the sattvic and that. Sorry.
No problem at all. So the reason why we do yama, why yama is so important, yama niyama, is to discipline the mind. Shama dama, not yama niyama. Shama and dama is to have a say on our mind, a say on our sense organs. So now it makes sense. Is this the one that you wanted to know? Is this the chart? Or one before this? There's no other chart before this.
Okay, that's a chart.
Yeah, this is
I
the
thought
chart.
the sattvic aspect is it didn't exact. Oh, it actually added the both in it, right?
Yeah,
The
it's
organ
as
of
in both.
action and perception.
Correct.
Okay. Okay.
See, sattvic aspect of sound of space is sound. Rajasic aspect is speech. Organ of action is tongue. So hearing and speech.
We
Air,
have to understand is here in the sattvic and rajasic aspect, there is no panchikarana.
no.
Only in the rajasic aspect. I mean, sorry, that was the doubt again. I got sorry.
On the tamasic aspect,
Tamasic.
Only tamasic aspect, only the panchikarana happens, right?
mm, mm,
But not here. The space alone gives the sound. It can, so that's why the sattvic aspect of that is the hearing. The ear is the touch, like that, and then so for the organ of action, because of that, the whole tanmatra, constitutes that function. But whereas the gross body, where the panchikarana is happening, and so that's where I think the confusion is. I mean, that's like, but you did read that part where sattvic aspect is the very subtlest form of it, so you're not able to see it. But the rajasic part is the touch, feel, and all that. Um, and then motor function is connected to those
yeah,
organ
rajasic
of
aspect
action
is all the organs of action.
because of the
Karmendriyas.
activity, right?
Mm.
Because rajasic is related to activity. Okay, got it.
See, if you
Thanks.
look at this, sattva is knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
rajas is activity, tamas
Right.
is inertia, jada,
Yeah. Yeah.
inertia.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if you look at the physical body, just look at the physical body without the sense organs, without the mind, intellect, equipment, the Pancha Mahabhutas, it is inert, isn't it? It is jada. It
Mm-hmm.
is like you have just the
Right.
equipment is there, but with
Mm-hmm.
all of this added, there is that life in that. When you have the aspect of rajas included in it, you
Mm-hmm.
you have the organs of action, and then when you add on the sattva as aspect as well, then there is the ability to know, to perceive. So a person who is a dead, if you can contrast a live person to a dead person, in the dead person, what is there? It is only the tamasic aspect, bereft of the sukshma and the
And
karana
only
sharira.
the earth element. And the only earth element is there.
Not only earth element, all the others are there. That is why when you burn the body, they merge into the different Panchamahabhutas.
Elements. Five elements.
The earth element will
Goes to
move,
earth.
all the
Hmm.
bones and everything will go.
Hmm.
So the gross body has all the five elements. But when you contrast a live person to a dead person, what is the difference? The live person has the tamas aspect in the form of the physical body, has also the organs of action as well as the organs of perception. So the causal karana sharira, sthula sharira, and sukshma sharira, all three are there and they're functioning in him. A live, awake body who is a person like you and I, who is we're talking and listening to each other. Whereas you contrast this to a dead body, there is no prana in there. The organs of action cannot function, and there is although the sense organs are there physically, the eyes, ears are there is no ability to perceive because the 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 sukshma sharira is not there. It's only the stula sharira.
Rajas element of the five elements. Five, three gunas and five elements are not working.
Are not there, not working.
Hmm. Hmm.
Only the tamas aspect is there. And even that, when you cremate the body, what happens? All the different panchamahabhutas, there is liquid also, right? In the physical body, the dead body, there is that there is the blood.
Blood is also there.
Blood is there. Bones are there. There is also air in the stomach, air in the lungs. So all of this, it just merges into the five elements once you burn the body. So the unmanifest form of, where is that?
Of five elements and three gunas.
Yeah. No, where is that? I wanted to read that. Mm, the unmanifest condition of the five elements and the three qualities is the causal body. The manifestation of the sattvic and rajasic aspects of the five elements constitutes the total subtle body or the subtle world. And then the manifestation of the tamasic aspect is the stula sharira, the gross body. Now, I think our understanding of the Stula Sukshma Karana Shariras is getting clearer, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tamoguna is characterized by inertia. That which cannot know itself or illumine another is inert. That which cannot activate itself is inert. The tamasic aspect of the five elements together undergo the process of grossification as explained in the chart 1 and 2. By their mutual intermingling, each element thereafter has 50% of its own element and 12.5% of each of the other four. Therefore, each of the gross elements has the qualities of all the others. These elements, what we're talking of here is the tamasic aspect, right? The stula jagat. These elements can thereafter be perceived by the senses. The permutation and combination of these forms the gross world, including the gross body. The vegetable you eat has starch, proteins, chemicals, earth, water content, its own heat, air, and occupies space. Even though water in its purest form is supposed to be tasteless, colorless, and odorless, we know that seawater tastes salty, appears blue, and has a distinct smell. Our own body occupies space. We have plenty of air within us. The body has heat, and more than half of it is made up of water. There is the earth food element which makes up most of its weight. The gross body cannot function without the subtle body. When the subtle body leaves the gross body disintegrates and goes back to the five gross elements. As all gross bodies have the same gross elements, no gross body can claim to be superior to another. All differences at the gross level are superficial. If this is understood, then all conflicts due to caste, creed, color, sex, etc. would end. This has to be told to, understood by all our politicians, leaders, all those fighting wars, all the gross bodies. No one can claim to be the superior to the other. Ultimately, they're all made up of the 5 gross elements. That is why Gurudev says our highest identity is that we belong to the human race, or the one
That
world family.
much ignorant people are right.
Ignorant
Yeah.
people will start with sex. They say, I'm male, female, color,
Yeah.
I'm beautiful, you're white, I'm black, creed, caste, religion. It is, the more
Yeah.
ignorant we are, the
And
more
also with the
differences.
ego and possessiveness on
Hmm.
top of it. Yeah.
You know, as soon as a mother delivers her baby, first question is, what is it? Is it a boy or is it a girl? It starts from there.
Correct.
Yeah.
This brings us to a different level of understanding, no? How superfluous it is to create these differences.
Deluded mind only,
It is. How superfluous all of this is. And
See, we only teach the children, this is mango, this is yellow. Nama Rupa, we are creating the whole world to them. And ultimately, we have to again erase that at the end.
See, the world is created, we are born into the world to experience it, and through the world, realize our true nature. That's the whole point. If we are going to be experiencing the world and we are only going to keep enjoying the world, you'll become a samsari. But having been born, now you cannot say, oh, why I don't want to get this birth. You're already born. So having been born, you experience it, but at the same time, become a mumukshu. Walk towards the path of moksha and realize through the world, realize the empirical nature of the world. Realize that it is only Maya, it is only an illusion, and come back to your original nature, your Swarupa, which is nothing but Satchidananda. So that's why that circle has to complete. Purnamadaha Purnamidam. This world is Purna, no doubt, with all its Nama Rupa and everything. But Purnamidam, Purnat Purnamudachyate. So from this Purna, there is a total, complete Purna that is formed. Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. So what we need to do is realize and recognize that we are that Purna, that out of which this Purna Jagat is formed.
Gurudev said, no, out of atta you make chapati, puri, parotha.
Mm. You
Like
enjoy the world, like,
we should not care. Like, no,
huh?
you should not, like, I'm saying that there should not be any asakti with anything. Well, you
Yeah.
enjoy everything, don't get attached.
I'm just reminded of how Krishna stands is when he stands, his one foot is flat on the floor, the other foot he's only the toes are touching the ground. So we need to live rooted in the Brahma Tattva. We just have to very lightly live in this world, just like how these toes are touching the ground. You cannot negate this empirical reality, isn't it? Till we get that knowledge, this is real, and we cannot not continue to exist. You cannot say, oh, I am Brahma, therefore I don't need to eat. What will happen? Your body will decline. You will perish. So uh, it should not come from blind following of what this shastra says, but comes out of to come out of understanding, out of viveka. As
And
long as I
experience. You
and
have to experience it
yeah,
itself.
nice. So we'll stop here. Identity between microcosm, macrocosm. So we wanted to learn about why did we come here is because of the verse in the 13th chapter, which talks of the sattva, rajas, tamas, the gunas, I think. That is what
Yeah, and the karmas, that
the karma, sanchita
sanchita
karma.
karma. Mhm.
So we came back to Tattva Bodh. So maybe we will read this part also tomorrow and then go back to chapter 13, Jiva and Ishvara. We stopped at verse 25 or 26, I think. We'll continue that tomorrow. Okay. So we'll close here today. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Jai Gurudev.